Welcome to this video. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness in the highest levels of love light. This really, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I'm just going to go into flow. I like to go into flow when I'm in my car and just kind of see what comes through with wordplay. So a little light language, a little, let's just play. Sorry about the shakes on here. Probably won't post this anyways, but we'll just play. And what is it that we seek to align ourselves with in these new energies? Do we see that we are aligning ourselves with new energies? Or are we seeking to distort these energies by aligning with the lower distortions? For as we see through the distorted frequencies, we allow ourselves to more frequently expedite our own molecular structure of expansion. We allow ourselves to let go of the conformity and conform no more. Play on words. When I say conform no more, I'm saying we're not conforming because we know more. KNOW. We begin to resonate at a higher frequency bandwidth, and we let go of the need to bandwidth lower frequencies that have captured our attention in previous concubine-ing energies. This is a play on words. I'm seeing turbines like colanders and then binding, keeping us spinning. We allow ourselves to redirect the flow and utilize our energy in a much more flowing space, a flowing equilibrium, if you will, that allows us to create a more unilateral expression, unity. I'm seeing unity in like balance, lateral, like you're on a bridge. We allow ourselves to combine our frequencies and activate one another, for we each carry within us the codes of resiliency. We each carry within us codes of higher abilities to access a frequency that previously was difficult to express, convey, and experience, yet now it is all around us. It bathes us in its light, and as we allow ourselves to open to this, I'm seeing bath water, so this is a play on words. I'm seeing golden light and water, hydrogen, oxygen, all of it, like H2O. We allow ourselves to blend in a more unified manner. This creates our ability to seek a higher blend, to merge and blend with these new frequencies and let go of the old adage systems. And this, I've said before, it's like add-ons. It's almost like there were all these things that we had added on, like on a computer, that weren't the original, and it bogged down the system. I'm hearing the bog of eternal stench. Little labyrinth reference there. I'm still waking up, guys. So as we allow ourselves to let go of the need to hold on to certain patterns, memories, and associations with these patterns and memories. So this is all a play on words as well. It's like, what do we used to associate with? Who did we used to associate with? Maybe that's changed. And also, when we, association is how we associate, like we compare certain things because of the patterns, people, places, and things that we're used to, comparing patterns with. So we're being called to let go of these frequencies that no longer allow us to distribute our own frequency evenly. We let go of the need to compare and contrast with old, I'm hearing excerpts of ourselves. So when I say excerpt, I think of something that's been taken out of something. It's a piece of something. So when we come back into this unification, and let me just back up for just a moment. What I've been shown in meditation is this, this like golden light that is literally bathing us from the sun. And we're being given this gift, and it's coming from planets, it's coming from our solar system, It's coming from all around us. We're in this bath, essentially. We're in this, I guess we could call it, we're being bathed. We're being renewed. We're being cleansed. We're being purified. And as we allow ourselves to let go of the need to hold on, I'm hearing let it ride. We will recognize that as we ride these waves together, we find a new way to ride the wave. We find a new wave that has been created that is merely waiting for us to discover it, for us to feel into it, for us to recognize that it is already here to uplift us into a new direction. And while some may feel that the old direction may have been the appropriate manifestation for our most positive future and timeline, we would invite you, our guides, our higher selves, our team, we would invite you to perhaps reorganize that thought process. And it is not as if we are letting go of everything that we have ever known, for everything that we have ever known is always a part of our own lineage system. And that's play on words. I'm hearing lymphatic system, lineage system, lines. Yet we are going through a grieving process for some, a drainage process for others. Like it's clearing, it's draining, we're letting go, but there's also a little space of grieving for people that don't want to let go of certain aspects of who they think they are. And what I'm hearing is identification. For that which we have identified with no longer matches our new golden frequency. So a lot of the things that we thought were important, or we thought were the way reality worked, they may have been applicable in a different dimension, in a different timeline, in a different version of reality, where we, as a different version of ourselves, coexisted with that version of reality. But we are here to paint a picture, if you will, that we are all painting a new picture, for we are all creating with our tools. I'm seeing paints and brushes and schematics, and I'm just seeing like a lot of us all being the artists that are being called just to paint a new picture of what we want now. And it can be a combination of a lot of things. You guys, one of the reasons I play with words when I'm doing these videos is because part of the old system is language. Many of us were taught that we weren't necessarily shown. There's languages that have been lost, and the art of the living language, the living library, the living linguistics is part of all this, looking at things from a new perspective. And that's also how we utilize communication. And that's possibly another video that I'll go into at a different time. But I talk about it a lot. For as we communicate with one another, we make choices. As we make choices, we create more choices. And this is a continual, infinite cycle of pressure and flow. Like I'm seeing temperature and cooking. And this allows us to move with a particular flow of energy, a particular chemistry set, one might say, a particular sequencing. And the sequencing creates an individual expression that can be utilized to draw out a map. This is a play on words. When I say draw out a map, it's like drawing something for our future, right? Our blueprint. But I'm also seeing it as a reference to pulling it out, like we're drawing it out from something that already existed. So we're finding, I'm kind of hearing that we're finding old maps, old scrolls. We're drawing it out like when you draw out something from inside the body also. So this is all a play on words, and this is very relevant because one of the things that's happening for quite a few people is we are drawing things out of our body. We're drawing out, we're purging. We're drawing out chemicals, toxins, emotional toxins, thought patterns, and we're then, this is what the guides are saying, is then we're recreating from there. Because once you clear all that out, then it's no longer, even though it's part of us, it was part of us, it no longer is in the same way, because we don't feel the same way. We don't think the same way, right? We don't operate the same way. So therefore, everything isn't the same. And there's a large portion of people who are just stuck. And the guidance team, my guidance team at least, keeps saying, let it go. It's okay. It's that whole saying, let go or be dragged. And some of the energies that are coming in are really requiring us to participate in our lives at a much higher level. We're being required to change our diets, change our sleeping patterns, be more present with what our bodies are telling us, and being more present with each other. We're being called to listen with our entire being, our entire body, and be in that moment, because there's these nuggets that oftentimes are lost in translation. We're busy trying to think about our next sentence, or busy thinking about what we have to do in an hour, or busy trying to figure out why the person that's talking is saying what they're saying. And all of that, there's a word that I just lost, speaking of lost in translation, all of that, the little things essentially get lost in the shuffle. And I'm seeing songs, like we're not sure which song to listen to because we're busy putting everything on shuffle, when in actuality, there is an order to things. So when we listen to someone, when we feel into a situation with our entire being, our entire state of presence, we hear something different and we feel something different. It doesn't mean that we're going to hear a voice, or we're gonna feel a shockwave hit us. It's the biggest message that I keep getting over and over again, and I've been getting for years, is the magic is in the mundane. It's the little stuff. For example, I was working with someone the other day who really, we don't talk about anything that I do other than teaching them some physical, like yoga or Pilates, right? We just work together, mostly physical. But I know that we're really working together at a higher level. So when I tune into this person, I offer a space to really listen to what it is that they're sharing. And I was called to bring up something about a particular point in time, we'll say. And it involved, for whatever reason, and a particular area. Vietnam has been coming up a lot for me, not just about a particular point in time. Ooh, I'm getting a little emotional here. But also a place, a location. And that is a synchronicity for me that I just happened to have been tuning into. I brought that up, and he mentioned that he dreamed last night, the night before I was telling him this, I mentioned the word Vietnam, and he had dreamed about Vietnam the night before, and he was kind of blown away, like, well, that's really weird. I dreamed about that last night. And I thought to myself, I don't even know why I brought that up. I'm sharing this because I ask for magic every day in my reality, and that to me is magic, because I just had a new defining moment with this particular individual, because I trusted what I had to share. I trusted just to say what was kind of percolating in my mind. And because I did that, it created a synchronicity. It created, A, he remembered his dream, which he hadn't before. And B, it was kind of strange to him, who is someone who isn't used to working out of synchronicity. And it was seems little, but it was a big experience. And I, obviously, if you've watched my videos, I live my life by synchronicity. But maybe just that one little nugget for this particular gentleman will continue. And it's a sprinkle. It's little sprinkles of rainbows and sunshine that we have to keep in mind. The rainbow holds many colors of light, right? It's not just always a rainbow. It has different facets, just like a diamond. So we're really being called to be a little bit more, the word that's coming through is intelligent. And that doesn't mean we're being smarter by knowing more about stuff, about education. It's a cellular intelligence where we just trust that there are some things that we know and allow those things that we know to bubble up and come out in conversation and interaction with each other. So that, I know I kind of went all over with these messages, but I'm tying it all together, and I'll end on this note. Essentially, everything is different. And for those individuals who don't see that or don't feel it, it's merely because they're locked in a particular pattern. I'm going back to what I said in the beginning, a habitual pattern, and essentially what my guidance team is calling conditioning. They've been conditioned to operate at a certain level with in a particular framework, from a particular blueprint, going through certain interactions in a particular way. But the particulars, this is all a play of words, have actually changed. And they're just in this habit pattern, and they don't realize necessarily that everything is different. So those of us that do are being called, like we're hearing the call to step up, to step out, to bring ourselves, our higher selves, our inner selves forward. And I say that as forward, like a forward in a book, and forward for words, right? It allows us to utilize this in our communication. So there's a lot more. There's layers to this. Sing a 444. There are layers to this. And so the more we can take little moments and increments throughout the day and acknowledge magic, acknowledge these little synchronicities, and literally I'm seeing us keep score. So my husband got me a calendar. I didn't need it. I mentioned this in one of my other videos. It's a daily calendar. Well, I'm calling it my daily magic. I haven't caught up on writing it in all every day, but just by me thinking of that calendar, I start to add up my magical checks throughout the day. And then I go, wow, had I have not stopped and thought about that, I wouldn't have even necessarily realized all of the magic in the mundane. So, in love and light, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.